Hi everyone, Shirin here, and welcome to day 5. It is the final day of the Daily Creative Challenge for Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, for those of you who are just tuning in today on day 5, the Daily Creative Challenge is a week-long challenge to help you level up your video editing skills in Premiere Pro. Before we get into today's challenge and all of that, pop into the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. So in the chat, I see today we have Wade, Valdair, and Nabil. We also have Umacorn. Hello everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in. Now, for those of you who are joining us today, let me walk you through the challenge and how you can catch up. So over here, this is behance.net/challenge/premiere, and you can sign up to take the challenge by just pressing this blue button. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see you have the community chat. So once you press this link, it'll take you over to this invite link for the Discord. And then once you join the Discord, it looks like this. So you'll see we have the challenge right here. So in this tab, you can access basically all of the feedback and projects that everybody has been submitting throughout the challenges. And this is where you can submit your daily challenges as well. And then we also have other channels in here like Ask a Question, Tips and Tricks, Career Advice, and you can also introduce yourself down in introductions. So lots of good stuff going on over in the Discord. Definitely check that out. Now, going back here, if you scroll down, you'll see you have all of the daily challenges. And if you press Get Started, you can access the starter files to follow along and edit along with me for the challenge. Of course, you can use your own footage as well, but if you do want to use the assets that I provided, once you press that, it'll take you to this page, and you can either copy it to your work, so it'll save it over to Creative Cloud, or you can individually download them by hovering over them, pressing the 3 dots, and then pressing Download. And if you need to catch up on any of the previous days, or you just want to watch them again, you can just press Watch Video for each of the different challenges. Now for today's challenge, we have Edit with Graphics. We're going to create and add graphics to your video using motion graphics templates and the Essential Graphics panel. So let's dive into Premiere. Now in the chat, I see we've also got Gareth joining us and Biola. Ooh, Gareth is from Deepest Darkest Scotland. Is it really deep and dark? I thought Scotland's like beautiful and green and lush. Umacorn says, hello from cold Netherlands. Yep, it's pretty cold out here in Los Angeles as well. This week has been rainy, chilly. It is cold. And we've also got Nathan tuning in from Phoenix. Hello, neighbor. Thank you all so much for tuning in. So today is all about graphics, and we are going to be working out of the Essential Graphics panel. So I'm in my custom workspace. If you want to, you can add the Essential Graphics panel to your custom workspace by going to Window and then choosing Essential Graphics. Alternatively, you could go to the Graphics workspace right up here, and this will also bring up Essential Graphics in a panel on the right for you. Now I'm going to go back to my custom workspace. That's just what I prefer. So let's work out of Essential Graphics in here. Now you have 2 options within Essential Graphics. So you could either use My Templates. So these are things that you would have just already downloaded and stuff like that. Or you could use Adobe Stock. So Adobe Stock has an option for you to search for different titles and assets for graphics. And there is a free and premium version. So I almost always use the free version. There's so much goodness over in this free version of Adobe Stock. So if I toggle this on, you'll see I have all these different graphics, but I could also search for specific things. So let's say I'm looking for a title graphic. I would just go into the search bar and I can type in title. And now I have 39 pages of free options for graphics titles. How amazing is that? So you can go through these and get a feel for them and see which one you like. And a really cool feature is that you can hover over them to get a preview of what they look like. So as an example, let's say we want to see what this one looks like, the displaced title. So if I press this and I just hover my cursor over the title, the graphic, you'll see it's giving me a preview of what this looks like. And that looks really cool. I actually quite like that. So let's say I want to add this over to my timeline. All I have to do is click on it and then drag and drop it over to my timeline. And it'll just take a quick sec to load. And there we go. Now we have a title. So if I scrub through this title, I can see kind of what it looks like over my footage. And obviously I don't want it to say something like displace titles, so we can go through and customize all of this by pressing this graphic right here on our timeline and then going over to edit. So right now we have these three different options. We have text controls, color controls, and background controls. So let's turn down the text controls and see what we can do. So we can change the text. So let's change this and let's see, should we do a title for the whole video or should we do mini titles for each of the three different versions of how to wear a scarf? Let me know in the chat what you think. Or we could do all of them, honestly. I'm gonna start off with doing just a general title for all of it, so we'll do one scarf 3 ways. So now we have changed the text and we have a nice title for a video. And I'm thinking, since this is going to be like the general title for the whole video, let's bring it over to the beginning of the video. Now, right now I have this B-roll in here. So let's say I want to get rid of that. I'm just going to delete that. And then I'm going to bring this title over instead. Nathan is saying all of the above. So we'll do the general title and then we'll do the 3 mini titles. Good idea. So for this first one, let's go through and let's make some more adjustments. Let's change up, let's see. We can change the text, but I actually really like this font and everything that's going on with that. So I'm gonna leave those as is. So we're done with text controls. Let's go over to color controls. Now, the first option that we have is our main text color. So let's try switching this up. Typically, I do love having a black and white color scheme, but let's say we want to switch it up a little bit. Maybe we'll do like a blue to match the blue in the background. So if we want to select the exact shade of blue that we have going on in the background, I can pick my eyedropper tool right here within the color picker. So I'm going to click on that to enable the color picker or the eyedropper tool, and then I'm just going to click on that wall. And now we have chosen the exact shade that is on that wall. So I'm going to press OK. And if I scrub back over to the beginning, you'll see that main text color has now changed and it's become that teal color. So let's go through and change the rest of the colors as well. So we will do the first extra text color. So let's say for this one, let's try doing that same teal color. I'm just going to choose the eyedropper tool, choose this teal color, and press OK. So now it's cohesive. We have the same sort of color scheme going on. The next thing that we want to change is the second extra text color. Now, right now we're not seeing that, so I'm going to scrub forward on my timeline a little bit just so I can see that and what it'll look like. So for this one, I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to choose the eyedropper tool right there and select that. Ooh, why did it turn green? Let's do that again. Okay, one more time. There we go. So now we have them all set to the same color, and let's keep scrubbing forward and we'll see what this next one is. Okay, so this one is our shapes color. That's our next option. So this is these little X's that we're seeing popping up on screen. So let me just scrub forward and I want to see when those will stop coming in. So around here. So something that I'm keeping in mind as I'm looking at this is what color to choose that will pop out as this graphic is changing from being this black background to only having black around the text. So if I change this X, for example, to something like a black or like a darker color, it'll blend in with that shirt that I'm wearing, and I don't really want that. I want something that'll stand out. So in this case, white is a great color option. We could try doing that same sort of teal color just to see what it'll look like. So let's try that out. I'm going to choose the eyedropper tool, and then I'm just hovering over on this color right here for the second extra text color. I could choose any one of them, and that's another way that I can choose that color as well, instead of having to go over the text itself in my program monitor. So now let's just scrub back and forth and get a feel for what that looks like. All right, so it looks like that, and maybe this is a bit too matchy-matchy. It's not really giving us good separation between the text and the little X icons, or whatever you want to call them, shapes going on. So let's try changing up that color a little bit. I'm gonna pull up this color. I'm just gonna click on that color right there, and let's try going for maybe like some sort of orangey color. So I'm gonna go over to my oranges, and maybe we'll do some sort of burnt orange. And I'll press OK. So now it's definitely popping, and let's take a look at that. So that's a good option, but I don't think this matches the vibe of the video. Let me know in the chat, do you think we should do some sort of color, or should we just stick with white? I feel like white just looks cleaner, but y'all let me know. I'm open to changing this. We can try another color. Maybe we can go to like a pink. Maybe that's fun. That's pretty cool. That looks nice as well. But I think for this video, since the scarf is also kind of like this gray and black, maybe the color just doesn't really make sense, right? So let's go back to white, like that. And we'll just set that to white. Now the last option that we have for our color controls is our background color. So right now it is set to black, and I think for this video that actually works perfectly. But if we were to change it to another color, let's just quickly do that and see what it looks like. Umacorn says the orange does match your room color, but white is good. Yeah, it definitely matches. Like orange and teal, they look nice together, you know? But the white also fits nicely. Dorina says it kind of matches the orange frames in the background. Ooh, good point. Oh, you know what? Let's try actually color matching. We'll come back to that in a sec. So if I just do something like a gray, well, that's not really easily legible. So let's not do that. Let's do a darker sort of gray, like some sort of charcoaly gray. It'll look something like that. And as I scrub back and forth, you'll see it's looking like that. And the reason why it's looking a little bit brown right now is because we have this underneath our color correction and color grade layers. So if you don't want your graphic to be affected by those colors, you can just drag this up above those layers. So now it's true to that teal and the gray that we had going on in our initial color selection. So just keep that in mind while you're editing. So as I scrub back and forth, this is what it looks like with the gray. I think the black just looks better in this case, so let's just go with black, and let's go back to those shapes. So let me just scrub back on my timeline, just so we can see those X's. Let's do this one. So I'm gonna pull up the eyedropper tool again, and let's choose this frame color back here. So now it looks like that, and I think that's a nice touch. It's complementing that mirror. So let's let this play and we'll see what it looks like. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways to wear a scarf. The first way is super simple. You're simply going to open up your scarf and make sure that it is folded in half. Cute! So let's go to background controls. Now the last option that we have here is our opacity and background box width. So if I bring down the background opacity, you will see that background color that I have is beginning to fade out. So if you want this to be set to, I don't know, let's do like a 10, that's a way to be able to see what is going on in the video behind the text. So it's not like this solid block of color. It's kind of like overlaying the text in a way that's like, I mean, both ways are overlaying, you know what I mean? But like in this way, you can see the background. I quite like the opacity set to 100. It helps the text in this case to be more easily readable, so I'm going to leave it like that. Now, the last option we have is our background boxed width. So let's try to adjust this. And you'll see as I'm sliding over to the left, that width is just getting smaller and smaller. And if I go all the way to 0, we're not going to have a background at all. So if I just scrub through real quick on my timeline again, this is essentially what it would look like. Now, this could work, you know, like if you changed your main text color to something like a white. So let's try that real quick. It would pop, you know, and that works. But we're gonna keep it the way it was, so I'm gonna press Command Z and Command Z one more time, and we're gonna leave our background box width to 100. The next thing that we want to do is go in and trim down our title just a little bit, because right now it's just a little bit too long. It's going into when I'm starting to talk about the scarf, and this is really just supposed to be an intro title. So I'm going to hover over the end of this graphic clip and just drag it in. So I'm going to try to snap it to that first clip first and just see what that looks like. If we need to go back and extend it out a little bit, we can. So let's just play this back and see what it looks like. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways to wear a scarf. The first— Okay, that was a little bit too quick, huh? What do you guys think? I think we should try just extending it out a little bit, ever so slightly, past the beginning of this second clip. So maybe something like that. And let's take a look. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways to wear a scarf. The first way is super simple. You're simply going to— Okay, so do you think this graphic is a little bit too intense for this video, or does it work? It seems like it's just flashing all over the place, and maybe it doesn't necessarily fit the vibe of this video. Let me know in the chat. But we can keep it for now. Let's go back to the Browse tab, and let's look for another title. Now, something else that you could do is type in keywords. So let's say you're looking for a minimal style. You could type in minimal, and now it'll show you all these different graphics that have a minimal aesthetic. Umacorn is saying, yeah, a bit too much. Agreed, it's a little bit crazy for this video. So let's try one of these minimal titles out. Let's preview this multicolor background title. So I'm gonna select it and just hover over it. And this is definitely more simple, it looks cleaner, I quite like that better. Gerard is saying, yes to intense. Darina says, the black screen at the end is a bit too much. Umacorn says it's covering you all up, and Wade says it's a bit too much as it ends. I shouldn't go back to full screen. Yeah, so let's try out one of these minimal titles. I think these will definitely be a bit better for this video. So this seems like a good option. Let's check out this bold minimal title as well. So I'm gonna scrub over this to preview. So for this one, I'm not really feeling this because I personally don't have anything that I need to add in that text in between. I just need like a 1-word or like 1-line sort of graphic. Valdar says, I think the graphic would make a great thumbnail for YouTube to catch the attention, but if you want to be fancy, maybe a serif font. Yeah, I think you have a great point. This would make for a nice looking graphic for a thumbnail, but maybe not so much for this video as a title. So let's preview just one more of these minimal ones and we can choose which one we want to choose. So I'm going to go through, look at page 2, see what we have here. Let's see, let's go to page 3. So let's check out this abstract liquid title. I'm just going to preview this by clicking on it and scrubbing over. This one's cool too, but I think there's just going to be too much going on for this video with all those different colors going on. So let's go back and let's just choose the multicolor background title. So I'm going to choose this, click and drag it over to my timeline, and we'll just let it load out. All right, so this is looking like that. Definitely cleaner, but I do want to go back and change up the fonts because that font is not doing it for me. So we're gonna go to edit and then choose this title layer. And then go down to text, and I'm gonna choose Termina. And then let's go through and change these colors up. So I'm gonna choose my main background and let's change that fill. So I'm gonna click on it and let's just do black. And then the next one that we have is background 1. So let's scrub through and check out which one background 1 is. All right, there we go. So this white that we have right here, that is our background 1. And I think white is fine for that. So now let's go to background 2. And then let's change that up. You know what, actually, we'll leave that color. That's a nice looking color. And then the last one is background 3, so let's just change up that red. I'm gonna choose my eyedropper tool, and let's just choose this teal color back here. Umacorn says, I always read it with a Spanish accent. Termina. Oh, I wish I could roll my R's. I can't. It's not happening for me right now, but I hear it in my head, and it sounds cool. All right, so let's go back to our simple title and let's change this up. So I'm going to double click right here to choose my text, and then I'm going to call this scarf 1. Actually, scarf 1 like really doesn't make sense. Let's call this method 1. I don't know, what do you call this? Like ways to wear a scarf 1? Whatever, method 1 works for now. So we're gonna leave that as is. And then I'm going to click with my selection tool. I'm just going to choose that right here in my toolbar, and then click out of the text so I'm not choosing any of that text. Now, let's play this back and just see what it looks like. 2 lengths are even. Now you can leave it like this, or you can cross them over if you would like. All right, so now that we have that title, we can go and insert these between the overlapping clip areas. So for example, between the intro and the first clip. Ooh, Wade says style 1. Yes, I love that. What a better word. Let's go back and let's change the method to style. So I'm going to choose method, and let's change that to style 1. All right, so let's drag this over to the beginning. We're just going to get rid of that first title text for now, and we'll bring that over. And I'm going to trim this down a little bit just so it's shorter. So now let's let that play and let's look at that. I'll show you 3 ways to wear a scarf. The first way is super simple. All right, so I'm going to bring this over to the beginning of that clip where I begin to start talking about this first way to wear it, and let's take a look at that. Scarf. The first way is super simple. You're simply going to, and I'll just extend it out a little bit, and let's take a look at that. The first way is super simple. You're simply going to open up your scarf and make sure. Okay, cool. So now that we have this, we're good to go. Let's duplicate this out. So I'm gonna press and hold Option or Alt if you're on a PC, and click and drag this over, and now we have duplicated that clip. So now we're gonna look for the second method. So right here, this is where I begin to start talking about that second method. I'm gonna drag this over to align it to the beginning of that clip, and then now we're gonna go in and just change this wording to make it say style 2. And then I'm gonna do this one more time, pressing Option or Alt if you're on PC, and dragging this out. And let's see, is this the third clip? The last way. Yes, that is the third clip. So I'm gonna choose this graphic, double click on the text right here, and change it to 3. So now we have style 1, style 2, style 3, we're good to go. The last thing you could do is go back in and add some sort of intro, right? So if I wanted to, I could use the same one, and I'm going to drag and drop this to a new layer because right now it's too long. And I'm gonna trim this down and get back down, and let's just change this to say intro. Or actually, intro does not make sense. 1 scarf, 3 ways. There we go. And let's take a look at that. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways to wear a scarf. The first way is super simple. You're simply going to open up your scarf and make sure that it's beautiful. So obviously you could go in and spend some more time really just browsing the titles, adjusting the colors and the text and all that to really hone it in and make it look polished. But that is how you use the Essential Graphics panel in Premiere Pro to add titles and graphics to your videos. So go ahead and try that out and drop your final videos over in Discord so that we can check them out. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this week's daily creative challenge, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!